Hello, my darling Garmourians. Today, I have a video that might make some of you a weensy bit angry, because I will be predicting 5 teams who will fall off in this season of Counter-Strike. As you guys know, I've never been wrong before in my entire life, so this video should be taken for gospel. Surely nothing possibly said in this video can age wrong at all. And what I'm going to classify in this video as falling off is just moving down 5 VRS spots. That's all you got to do. You also got to be a top 30 ranked team. And so you might be thinking to yourself, how often does this even really happen? Well, if we look at this past season and go from before it started to right now, there are 14 teams who have qualified for this. First is FaZe, which honestly would have been way worse if it wasn't for their XSC Pro League showing. They went from being number 7 ranked to number 16 ranked as of today. Mongols went from being the 8th ranked team to the 14th ranked team. Bait from the 10th to the 19th. Liquid from 13th to 41. 3D Max from 15 to 34. IP from 18 to 32. Heroic from 19 to 38. Pain from 20 to 25. Saw from 21 to non-existent. They sold their core to BC Game and they ran that shit into the ground. So like they kind of don't count, but they also kind of do. They're the worst fall off team here. Is it their fault they got a bag for it? I can't really blame them. Passion UA, who went from 22 to currently 81 and are now a completely dead team. NRG, who went from 23 to 47. Imperial, who went from 26 to 57. Ho2, who went from 28 to 36. And Gentle Mates, who went from 29 to 46. And so what do a lot of these teams have in common? Well, a lot of it is roster instability or just bad roster moves during the past roster mania. Mongols added Cobra Zera wasn't necessarily a fantastic move, but it's not like they had a lot of choices anyways. Bait had some instability with the opping position until Sizzy started to lock in towards the end of the season. Liquid is liquid. 3D Max have had players coming in and out, switching up the IGL roles. They've been a mess. Heroic with Alcarin. Pain have just kind of been slowly declining since Austin, and then the rest are kind of whatever. You also have FaZe at the very top, who make this list mainly because they overachieved at Budapest and made the finals, and then just simply couldn't keep up that form going into the next season. And so when looking at this list and thinking of teams who maybe overachieved at the Cologne Major, and teams who I think made bad roster mania moves, or are going to have roster instability, it gives us a couple options here for who I think could fall off in this current season. Follically challenged Garmour speaking. Guys, if you would like to support me in the stuff I do here, check out the new long-term sponsor of the Garmour YouTube channel, Skin Swap. Skin Swap is the #1 place to trade your Rust or Counter-Strike skins for new ones where you can instantly upgrade your inventory. And if you use my code Garmour, you can get up to $50 on a free skin and a 3% lifetime selling bonus. And now you can also easily buy skins off the Chinese marketplace for cheaper prices than you ever could on the Western marketplaces. I truly think this is the best feature on any skin trading website, but if you are looking to sell, you can sell your skins for crypto, PayPal, Venmo, and a bunch of other withdrawal methods. Along with this, Skin Swap has a vault system now, which makes it the most rewarding skin trading website. And of course, don't forget the giveaways. And I think that's it. Thank you to them, thank you to you guys, and back to the video. The first team I'm going to talk about may make some of you a teensy bit angry. My first prediction that will fall off during this next Counter-Strike season is Furia. Hear me out, okay? I like Furia. The Fallen Last Dance run is honestly sick, and I want him to win a major on his way out. I love the Yakinda Redemption arc. I love Queserado, Yuri. I think Molodoy is one of the best operators in the world. I love this team. But if we are looking at this logistically, I think they might be kind of similar to how FaZe was last season. FaZe overperforms and makes the finals of Budapest, skyrockets up the rankings. Come on, Cook. Dog messing up my vibes and shit, bro. Where was I? And like I said, while I don't think... Wait, what the fuck was I saying, bro? What was I saying? Very similar to FaZe, Furia makes the finals of Cologne, and this was with them looking kind of shaky before this. You know, prior to Cologne, everyone was kind of wondering what really happened to Furia. They did make the finals of Krakow, but they didn't look great at Cluj-Napoca, or ESL Pro League, or Blast Open Spring, or Blast Rivals, or PGL Astana for that matter. And I guess in their defense, the last 4 teams they played that that bounced them out of the tournament were Falcons. Falcons had these fuckers' numbers, but they did still look shaky against other teams that I feel like they should have beaten. And I mean, if it wasn't for the Cologne Major, Furia would have been on that list for last season, because prior to their run to the final, they were the VRS ranked 11 team in the world. They were ranked outside of the top 10. Currently, they're ranked number 5. And so this isn't me saying that I think Furia is a bad team, but I do think they are going to slightly fall off and drop down the rankings compared to where they are right now. I just feel like they've been very inconsistent ever since they looked incredibly good at the end of 2025. And at this point, I just really don't know what kind of team they are anymore. Definitely a very good team, but maybe towards the end of the season, especially if they don't have a great run at Singapore, I could see them ranked outside of the top 10. Similarly to how they were before the Cologne Major, like 11 to 13 maybe. And the entire reason that they are a top 5 team right now is because at Cologne, they beat Bait, Mouse with a stand-in, Betboom, 9Z, and Aurora. And now listen, I don't want to fully discredit their run because they did look very good. But like, realistically, you look at all of the teams they played and you would think that they should win every single one of them. And then when they finally got to the finals against Falcons, now their top team, they really just didn't look nearly good enough. And so I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't want to shit on Furia because I do like the team and I think they're a very good team, but I could see them falling down the rankings at least a little bit. Next, I would like to apologize to South America. I am so sorry, guys. I already know the comments I'm going to be getting on this video. It's going to be brutal. People are going to be wishing my mother's house gets hit with a nuke.
They're going to be wishing that my car hits a pole and I fly out and get
wrapped around a tree.
Well, you just got to keep moving at the end of the day. What are you going to do? The next team I think is going to fall off is 9Z. This is one of the teams where I think their run at the major was good, but the main reason they're ranked this highly right now is because of them winning XSC Pro League. And while I do think that is a great achievement, they did have to still play good teams here. It wasn't like super good top 10 teams, and they're currently ranked as the number 6 team in the world. And if you told me at the end of the season 9Z was ranked as the number 14 team in the world instead, would anyone really be surprised? I really wouldn't be. And this once again makes me very sad because similar to Furia, I do like 9Z. Their rifling core of DGT, Luchov, and Waso Peak is actually fucking cracked. But to be honest with you, my main concern for the team is just gonna be Myron. I don't know if he's a good enough opper for this team to be consistently ranked in the top 10. And I feel like we have already seen this team be fairly inconsistent. They're just so weird. Like, I feel like they can fry top 10 teams. And then if they lose to a team ranked 28, it's also kind of not that surprising. So they're just in like a very weird spot right now. And I guess I just need to keep seeing it to believe it with them. That's kind of where I'm at. I haven't fully bought into the 9Z hype train. I would love to, but I'm just not quite there yet. I was honestly really hoping this team replaced Myron with, I don't know, Try. I think that would have been a perfect fit. He instead went over to Legacy, which is also a move that I like, but I just feel like him to 9Z would have been such an upgrade. And if I did have to make a prediction, at this point, it would probably be that 9Z misses the playoffs of Singapore, and that's when Myron gets replaced. I think he does get another full season at least. But I also am a very big believer in that if you want to be a consistently good top team, you need a consistently great opper. And so I guess we'll just have to see with this. Other teams have proven that you can make it work without a very good opper. I guess Legacy is the next best example, and they're both South American, but Legacy also kind of stunk it up at the Cologne Major, so it's like, I don't know, I guess you could say G2 is Sun Pius, but more often than not, you want a consistently better opper than Myron, at least in my opinion. And so I'm sorry, 9Z, I just don't think you're going to keep staying in the top 10 of the VRS rankings, but if you want to prove me wrong, well, hey, yo, go do it, fellas. The next team I had, I got a, I don't know, angry comments on Twitter wish, angry YouTube comment wish. We've already made all of Brazil angry. Might as well do Turkey now as well. I do think Aurora is unfortunately going to fall off during this next season and go down 5 or more spots. And let me get this out of the way. I actually don't mind the roster moves they made, but I do think at this point the roster is going to, it's going to take a little bit of time for this thing to work. And I also think that Aurora has more roster moves planned for the future. I think they are currently in a a rebuilding phase of the team. They still have the 3 players from the core to keep their VRS points, but I really don't think Aurora is done making roster moves, and I think they will make more at the end of this next season after Singapore, probably replacing Woxic if I had to guess. Maybe those Molodoi rumors come true, but I do think with Kixon and Jimmy coming in and the team switching over to English, there are going to be quite a few growing pains. I don't think they'll necessarily be a horrible roster, but I do just think 3 Turks that have been communicating in Turkish for the past, I don't know how many fucking years, all of a sudden switching to English. You know, the IGL is speaking in English. I just think it's going to be a little messy for the remainder of this year. And I'm also kind of concerned about Zantares. His form has been kind of falling off recently, and we also saw that he wasn't super comfortable in Big. Don't get me wrong, he's still a very good player in Big, but like if you look at Zantares' form in Space Soldiers and then Big and then Eternal Fire, he clearly was playing his worst in Big and then was frying in Space Soldiers, Eternal Fire, and then Aurora. He just seems to be significantly more comfortable in fully Turkish teams, and so I'm slightly concerned about him. I don't think the team is necessarily gimmicky, but if you were to look at the picture of the new roster, you are kind of like, okay. And don't get that mixed up with me thinking it's a bad roster move, right? I think Kixon is a good young IGL that Aurora can build with, along with Jimmy. I think there are 2 great pieces. I just think when you're connecting the puzzle pieces of a team, you know, Kixon, Jimmy, Zantares, Woxic, Wakadia, the pieces don't necessarily all fit together perfectly. You got a little bit of triangle edges trying to fit in, you know, circular spots, a rhombus maybe in there. It's a mess is what I'm saying. And while I do think, you know, like I said, this team can build a very competitive roster for the future, I still think they're in their rebuilding phase and more roster moves are going to be coming in the future. And it's going to be a lot easier for them to make roster moves when the team goes down in the VRS rankings by 5 or more spots. Sorry, Aurora. Next up on this list is, I feel like, pretty much identical to 9Z, but I feel like the most obvious one by far, and that is Bet-Boomin. God damn it. Am I mad that they lost in the playoffs of XSE Pro League in the way that they did? Because this would have been my take no matter what, and now it feels like cheating because we already saw them play kind of this season. But for me, the main reason why I think Bet-Boom is going to fall off is just because of their roster. If they would have kept the same roster from the major with Flamus, I would not have them on this list. But I just think them making the playoffs of Cologne with the roster they did, basically having 2 stand-ins, and now coming back with Siren, it's just kind of a weird situation. And I just don't think they're going to be as good with this current roster if they don't make any changes, which is sad because I have gained a lot of respect for Boomich. I think he's incredibly good, and I think Magnojez is incredibly good, and I want Flamus out of jail. The core of Magnojez, Flamus, and Boomich, I think could do work. I think Zorte is fine. He's serviceable, at least. And then does anyone know what's going on with Diladez? Is he actually playing for this fucking team or not? He has been recently, at least, but I thought he got benched. So for me, Bet-Boom is just kind of one of those teams with roster instability at the moment, and those teams are always kind of the most likely to fall off. They are currently ranked number 10 in the world, and I would not be surprised if they fell down to 18 in the high 20s, you know, especially with them probably getting invited to tier 1 tournaments now as well. I think it's going to make it a lot easier for them to drop down the rankings. But like, if somehow by some miracle they do end up getting Flamus, and they do buy him out from VP, I think my opinion could absolutely be swayed. I think I would cancel this take immediately, and if somehow they do get him in the middle of the season, cancel this take, bro. Okay, this take is voided if Flamus rejoins. But I just feel like I've seen Bet-Boom be so inconsistent for so long now. I don't know why it would change, you know, now, especially with all their roster stuff. At this point, I just kind of want Magnojez to be freed. There were some rumors of him joining Spirit. I don't know if that would actually happen. It would be pretty cool because him and Donk are homies, so
fuck you.
We'll have to see. It would be kind of weird because I think he was going to be replacing Zontix. So Magnojez in anchor positions. We'll see. I mean, his aim is cracked. So at the very least, I think he would be decent at it. But it's always kind of weird switching a player to new roles. I don't know why I'm rambling about this. Get on to the next team. The next team I have is a team that was on our previous list, and I just think the fall is going to continue, and that is the Mongols, who currently are ranked number 14 in the world, and have now, along with Senzu, lost Mizinio. They've also benched Cobra Zera, and now the roster includes Blitz, Techno, 910.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to fumble this.
Tikuwak, he's a little fetus, and Darkmeister, another fetus. I guess the good news at least is Tikuwak has been frying on Chungus Warrior. And Darkmeister has 2 2 maps in the past 3 months and posted a 0.74 rating. I don't know anything about these guys, so forgive me. The skill might be there. We just have literally not seen this guy ever play. So I think at least for this next season, I could see Mongols fall out of the top 20. And it hurts to say because I do believe in Blitz. I do believe in Mara. But is Blitz, Mara, 9-10, Techno, and then 2 rookies at this point, is that really enough? Unless one of the 2 fetuses come out to be an absolute superstar, I just don't see a world where Mongols don't move down the rankings at this point. And who knows, maybe one of them can break out and be a superstar. But like even Senzu took a while before he eventually broke out. He had been playing since December of 2020, joined Mongols in September of 2023. And I just think at least for this next season, it's just too soon for the Mongols to be better. And this isn't me saying I think Mongols is going to be bad forever, but like at least specifically for this next season, very unsure of them. I am very uncertain of their roster, and I think that's, you know, completely fine. I think that makes sense. So yeah, I'm sorry, Mongolia. We'll have to see how the 2 fetuses do for you, but as of right now, I don't know, you're on my fall off list. I hate to be that guy. I don't know, man. What like, I feel bad, bro. Every single team I've talked about so far I like, I guess besides Bet Boom. Without Flamus, I'm very iffy. I don't really care. Like all these teams I like, man. I miss Prime Mongols. Fuck, bro. Mongols were killed by Bertram Clyde Gaming. I just really hope Senzu leaving isn't like the end of this team. That would cause me severe pain. But it looks like at least at this point it may be. And it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like Cobra Zero was frying. He posted a 1.13 on the Huns, which is very good. He just couldn't really translate to tier 1 with the Mongols. You know, it's not like Cobra Zero was a bad prospect and he didn't work out. Now we have 2 new prospects coming in. I guess at this point, Mongols literally just be mixing and matching. Just throw any young Mongolian player in the team, see who works out. I mean, to be fair, that's what Blitz and Mara have been doing for fucking years at this point. So if there was anyone who could find, you know, some diamonds in the rough, some gems in the Mongolian scene, it would be them. And I'm sure they're just going to keep mixing and matching until Mongols is a competitive team again. I just don't think it's going to be this season. The next team I have is Alliance. Alliance is an interesting one. A fully Swedish team, the best ranked Swedish team in the world at this moment. And I really like this team when they had Male09 on the roster. But with him back in Medisport jail and then replacing him with Bobby, I like them a little bit less. I still think Bobby is a great player. He is just very inconsistent. And I just don't think Alliance themselves has enough firepower to be a top 20 team. They're currently ranked number 17 in the world after XSE Pro League. And well, by the end of Singapore, I guess we'll have to see. But like, you know, if they were ranked in the mid 20s after this full season, and in the late 20s, I personally wouldn't be surprised at all. You know, there was a ton of teams that we talked about from last season's fall off. And a lot of them were just tier 2 teams who were really good for a bit. But as a tier 2 team, you really got to be goated to stay in that tier 1.5 range, or else you are going to be on the fall off list going down the rankings. And I don't necessarily think Alliance is like a bait, because I do believe Bait actually could potentially hang around the tier 1.5 space. And even Bait was on the fall off list last season. So I don't really see any reason why Alliance also won't be on it.
Once again, like I've said with all these teams, I have nothing against Alliance, so I'm fine to get proven wrong here.
Like, I don't know, bro. Uppies? What is Uppies gonna do? Uppies, what's your rating so far this year, pal? Uppies got a 102 over the past 3 months. Avid got a 112. Era got a 116. Bobby got a 111. Bobby, Uppies, Avid, Era, and Twist. Can you prove me wrong and maybe even move up in the rankings? No. I just don't think so. I mean, I will say, like, I do think there are a lot of fun prospects on this list. Like, how old is Era? Era's 24? Pack it up. It's over. You're 8 years too late, pal. Like I've always said, if you're not 16, popping motherfuckers' heads off, give up. It's over for you. You know, a Twist has been around the scene forever. I think he's fine as the caller. Bobby's 22? Yo, I'm 22. Yo, Bobby, we've got 1 foot in the grave, brother. I hate to be that guy, but we don't have a lot of time left on this earth, so it might be time for us to pack it up. How old is Uppies? He gotta be young at least. 22 as well? No. Oh, God. Avid's 24. The youngest player on this team is 22. Welcome to the retirement home, fellas. You know what I'm saying? Guys, it's over for Alliance. I'm so sorry. I hate to be that guy, but, you know, it's just like Falcons with Dupree, Magisk, Snappy. These are basically equivalent teams now at this point. Your prime in Counter-Strike ends at about 19, so it was a good run, eh? And guys, I'm playing. I think the actual prime in Counter-Strike is like 24. I'm pretty sure 24 is like the peak of most Counter-Strike players, but I could be wrong. I think I looked at this before. Anyways, last team. Team number 7 of the fall off list. This is probably the other most obvious team that everyone was thinking, and that's Luminosity. Kind of hard for them to fall off if they didn't exist, but they did. I'm counting this as the Monty Core. At the moment of me recording, Luminosity is the 23 ranked VRS team in the world, and I do truly think that by the end of this season, they're going to be ranked outside of the top 30. I just think the Monty Core really did kind of run through Gizmy. I think Gizmy was just that good of a caller. Him going to 100 Thieves, which, hey, W move, by the way. God bless that move. But then keep the rest of the core and then replace Gizmy with Lux. It's very strange. The roster feels a little too forced, in my opinion. Like, Luminosity were like, we want VRS points, we want to buy a core. Here's Monty. We have Brazilian fans from winning the major a decade ago. Lux. Brazilian, and he previously called on Legacy. Smush them together and pray, fellas. Let's see what happens. And well, we also saw them at XSC Pro League, and they didn't look great, so this feels like a cheating take. But I would have had this take anyways, man. I'm telling you, you have to believe me. Yeah, overall, I don't think any of these players are bad, right? Rainwaker, BMOS, Afro, Azuwu. Their stories were so sick when they were on Monty, because these were all like forgotten players, kicked out of other tier 1 teams. There were a lot of people's 03 pick at the major, and they proved them wrong at the very least. And so I thought Monty was a cool team. Very cool storyline. I just don't think without Gizmy, they're gonna be able to put it all together. And I do want to root for this team, similar to every other team I've talked about in this video. Look, guys, I'm a lover, okay? At my core, I'm a lover. I love all Counter-Strike teams. I have no hatred in my heart, besides for FaZe and Child King. But even FaZe has grown on me now. You guys know that. It's only me and Child King. Put us in a boxing ring. Live stream it to iFunny. I think that would be a W. Anyways, I apologize, Luminosity. You're just unfortunately on my fall off list. Sorry. And so those are all the teams, at least I personally have the confidence in saying I think are going to go down at least 5 VRS spots by the end of this next season. There were a couple more that like were little sneaky ones that maybe I kind of fucked with, but I already know as soon as I get one team wrong, it's over for me. I'm getting tomatoes thrown at me. I know. Furia wins one tournament this next season. Oh my God. Brazil gonna be on my ass, bro. Brazil not gonna let me breathe.
Fuck, this was a horrible idea.
But that's what I'm all about here. I love a good horrible idea. That's all I got for you today, fellas. If you agree with me, leave your agreements in the comment section below. If you disagree with me, I'll meet you at the corner of 824 North Street, Nebraska. I know your ass ain't showing up there, pal. Or also, let me know what teams you think are gonna fall off that I didn't even mention. In the top 30, by the way. In the top 30. Also, subscribe a link, turn on notifications, and I think that's it for me, fellas. I will see you guys next time.